For best friends boarded a train in 1987 and were never seen again. No screams, no witnesses, not a single clue. For 25 years, their disappearance remained one of the most chilling mysteries in America, until the FBI uncovered the shocking truth that stunned the entire nation. What really happened to the four girls on that train? Tonight, we're taking you inside the case that haunted families, baffled investigators, and finally exposed a dark secret buried for decades. It was a warm summer evening in June 1987. Four teenage girls from Chicago, best friends since childhood, boarded an overnight train bound for New Orleans. They laughed, shared snacks, and planned out the fun-filled trip ahead. But the train they boarded that night would become the last place anyone ever saw them. Somewhere between Illinois and Mississippi, all four vanished without a trace. When the train pulled into its final stop, their seats were empty. Their luggage was untouched. Their tickets were still on them. No one remembered hearing a scream, a struggle, or even footsteps leaving. The disappearance of these four black girls was not just another missing persons case. It sparked outrage across the country because it revealed how little attention authorities gave to missing young women of color. For years, their families begged for answers, but got only silence, dead ends, and heartbreak. The families of the missing girls refused to let the world forget. They put up flyers, appeared on local radio shows, and even stood outside the train company's headquarters demanding accountability. But the late 1980s were a time when missing children of color often went unnoticed in mainstream media. National news barely covered the story. Local police treated it like a runaway case, despite the families insisting the girls had no reason to disappear. One of the mothers, Mrs. Johnson, famously stood on the courthouse steps holding a photo of her daughter and said, "If these were four white girls, America would stop everything to find them. My daughter matters too." Her words resonated, but it still wasn't enough to push the case forward. For nearly 2 decades, the investigation collected dust in the FBI archives, a cold case nobody expected to be solved. Then, in 2012, something shocking happened. An old FBI agent named Robert Harris, who had worked on the original case, retired but couldn't let it go. He described the case as the one that kept me up at night. During his final days at the Bureau, Harris pushed for files to be re-examined with new forensic technology. When DNA testing was applied to evidence collected from the train, things like discarded drink cans and cigarette butts, the results pointed to a name investigators had missed: a train employee. This man, who had worked as a porter in 1987, had a criminal record of violent assaults that were shockingly similar to the pattern of the girl's disappearance. But back then, his DNA hadn't been in the system. When the FBI tracked him down in 2012, he was living quietly in Georgia under a new identity. The evidence tied him directly to the train the night the girls vanished. What investigators found next shook the entire nation. The man finally confessed after hours of questioning. He admitted that he had lured the girls into a staff-only area of the train by promising them free snacks and a private lounge to hang out in. Once inside, he trapped them. The details of what happened are too dark to describe fully, but the confession revealed years of suspicion. The girls had been victims of a planned assault, and afterward, their bodies were discarded along a remote section of railway near Mississippi. For 25 years, those remains had gone undiscovered. But with the killer's confession, investigators combed to the area he described. To the heartbreak of the families, partial remains were finally recovered and matched through DNA testing. The country was stunned. The mystery that had haunted so many for decades was finally solved, but it came with devastating truth. The girls had been gone all along, and the justice system had failed them for years. In 2013, the man responsible was sentenced to multiple life sentences without parole. The families finally received justice, though it was long overdue, but the case left behind bigger questions. Why did it take 25 years for the FBI to act? Why weren't the girls' disappearances taken seriously in the first place? The tragedy sparked new conversations about how missing cases involving black and minority children are often ignored compared to others. Activists and lawmakers pushed for reforms, demanding equal attention for every missing child, regardless of race or background. Today, the story of the four vanished girls is used in training for law enforcement officers as a reminder every missing person matters. Their names are spoken at vigils and memorials, ensuring they are never forgotten again. And while the ending was tragic, their story serves as a chilling warning, but also a call for change. Because in the end, what happened on that train in 1987 wasn't just about four girls. It was about a justice system waking up far too late. The mystery of the four vanished girls reminds us that justice delayed is justice denied. But their story also proves the truth can never stay hidden forever. What do you think this case says about how our system treats missing children of color? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And if you found this story eye-opening, don't forget to hit like, tap subscribe, and ring the notification bell so you never miss more true crime stories like this one. Until next time, stay safe and stay curious.